Welcome to another lesson, 152. So as we move on from the last one, which seemed to take off the tops of our heads, it was really massive and major and intense, and wowza, this one does at least use some words we can understand. The power of decision is my own. So in a lot of sense, this lesson is really helping you acknowledge that if I am suffering, it's literally, actually my decision. It is my decision to suffer. It's my decision to go with the ego mind at this point. If I'm in pain, I'm electing and deciding that on some level. So this is a good lesson to sit with a bit and understand that the world that we see is totally a projection of what's going on in our minds. So if I'm happy in my mind, I live a happy dream. If you're miserable in your mind, well, isn't misery all around you and you're hanging out with other miserable people? And we definitely have the power to attract what we want and attract what we are, essentially. So the power of decision is my own. This day I will accept myself as what my Father's will created me to be. So God made me perfect. He made you perfect because you're part of Him. So anything other than that is completely just deluding ourselves and encouraging ourselves to feel separate. One big thing about this lesson that I know challenges a lot of people is that it acknowledges the concept that God did not create the world. So in Christianity, it's like God created the world. We're like, oh, God's beautiful creations. Well, actually, this place is full of chaos and God did not create that. We did. God made it not. What can God know of the ephemeral? Like, God's eternal. Everything here dies. What can God know of sinful, guilty, afraid, suffering, lonely? The mind that lives within a body that must die. So the book says, you but accuse him of insanity to think he made a world where such things seem to have reality. He is not mad like crazy, yet only madness makes a world like this. To think that God made chaos contradicts his will, invented opposites to truth, and suffers death to triumph over life. All this is arrogance. So let us today be truly humble and accept what we have made as what it is. The power of decision is our own. Decide but to accept your rightful place as co-creator of the universe, and all you think you made will disappear. What rises to awareness then will be all that there ever was, eternally as it is now, and it will take the place of self-deceptions made but to usurp the altar to the Father and the Son. So yeah, it's like we are co-creators. We did create this crazy world, and as you accept that, and we can let go of the craziness and see what's really real. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think about this lesson 152? Today, Tina Jesus, for lesson 152, the power of decision is my own, said very clearly, God did not create the world you see. You created it. You did. The collective did. The collective in you, because you're part of that, projected out fear, pain, isolation, separation, abandonment, and created a world of projection and chaos. A lot of people think that God abandoned them when in actuality we abandoned God. So God did not create the world you see, you did. And as you understand that you are a co-creator, you realize that the decision truly is yours. What you focus on is brought into being. So the decision is yours as to what you focus on. Jesus highly encourages us to lift up our heads, lift up your game, and look with love and appreciation onto everything that you see. And be very thankful for what is working good and wonderful. Instead of complaining about the one thing that's ailing you, thank your body for all the things that it's doing wonderfully and working good. Same with your life. Look with forgiving eyes. People do not know what they do and why they do it sometimes. So look with forgiving eyes. Look with love, and your frequency will go up. Yeah. And then as our frequency goes up, we start to hang out with other people whose frequency is up, other happy peoples, and we are less miserable in our own minds. And then that will be reflected into being in your life. Less misery. Less misery would be lovely with lesson 152. The power of decision is my own. So today we say the power of decision is my own. This day I will accept myself as what my Father's will created me to be. We will wait in silence, giving up all self-deceptions as we humbly ask ourselves that he reveal himself to us. And he who never left will come again to our awareness, grateful to restore his home to God as it was meant to be. In patience, wait for him throughout the day, and hourly invite him with the words which the day began, concluding it with the same invitation to yourself. Whoa. And then it ends by saying, God's voice will answer, for he speaks for you and for your Father. He will substitute the peace of God for all your frantic thoughts, the truth of God for self-deceptions, and God's Son for your illusions of yourself. So it's just another one of the many ways that A Course in Miracles can release you from hell. If you can practice true humility today and abandon the false pretense by which the ego seeks to prove it arrogant. Only the ego can be arrogant, but truth is humble in acknowledging its mightiness, its changelessness, and its eternal wholeness, all encompassing. So yeah, it's another doozy. They're all doozies. This book carries great weight in lots of different ways. And then our work is to practice it in meaningful ways in our life. So we read these things that, yes, skim the top of our heads, and it's like a lot to take in, but take it in and see how then it changes you, and then you begin to feel differently as your mind gets retrained and clarified, and your frequency definitely goes up, 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 up. Pathwaysoflight.org. Welcome to the reading, A Course in Miracles Workbook Lesson 152, Insights. The power of decision is my own. Jesus is encouraging me to accept the truth and let go of the ego lies of separation. The truth is, all that is real is one in God and has never changed from how God created it. All is one continuous whole in God. This one continuous whole is changeless and eternal. This is my true identity and everyone's true identity. This is the real universe as God created it. In today's lesson, Jesus is encouraging me to let go of what is not true, what is not real. What is not real, bodies in a world of time and constant change, is not what God created. Let me accept the truth today. Let me not try to change God's creation and make an individual self-image. Let me let go of that self-image and accept only the truth as true. Let me accept my one universal self in God as all that is real. This is my salvation. My identity could never be anything other than as God created it. Let me accept the truth today. This lesson lays responsibility for the world I see squarely in my own hands. Recognition of this as true is essential to my release from it. As long as I believe anything in the world I see is not of my own making, I am a victim of the world, powerless to do anything about it. Acceptance of full responsibility for the world is key to my release from it. It means I have all the power I need to release the world I see and return to heaven, where I was created to be and still am in truth. The decision for what I want to believe is true is always mine. This is a point that is repeated many ways again and again throughout the course. The ego puts up all kinds of smoke screens trying to hide this fact and make it seem as though what happens in the world I see is entirely out of my control. The ego's very existence depends upon my believing this. The recognition that the world and everything I seem to experience in it is of my own making brings instant release. No one consciously hangs on to pain, isolation, fear, and guilt. It is the quick forgetting referred to in an earlier lesson that makes these decisions seem to be unconscious and holds the illusory world in place. As I accept myself as God created me, I free myself from the world of limitation and death. Only I can make this decision, for it is only I who has made the decision to deny it. Today's lesson is simply a reinforcement of the lesson, heaven is the decision I must make. Today I will practice remembering that I remain as God created me. I love the first paragraph of this lesson, but it also scares me. I am perfectly willing to accept the idea that I am responsible for everything in my world, but somehow I am unwilling to accept that I have the power to change it. Can I really have the power of decision as my own? And if so, why do I not use it? What is wrong with me that I choose misery, guilt, and fear instead? In my meditation this morning, I asked Holy Spirit to show me specific places in my mind that I have chosen to believe the truth is not true. These were all familiar places to me. I knew they were there, and often I have pretended to myself that I wanted healing and even asked for healing. God doesn't hear my false words that I use to fool myself. He hears instead what is in my heart. And so I choose to believe I can keep these exceptions to the truth and pretend they are the real world I inhabit. I am not going to waste any time trying to figure out why I choose pain over joy. I have asked Holy Spirit to gently remind me throughout the day when I am making these choices. This day, I am not going to pretend circumstances are out of my control and there is nothing I can do about certain things in my life. I accept that God did not create me to be fearful, and so if I am feeling fearful, I am trying to make my own truth to replace God's truth. How crazy is that? I am not going to try to reason with the ego or allow anything to cloud the issue. That is how I've kept these self-deceptions in place for so long. If it is fear, God did not make it, and it is not true. pathwaysoflight.org. Yeah, so we've definitely all done a doozy on ourselves when we continue to deceive ourselves, believing things that are not true. We're diving headfirst into fear and judgment and all that kind of stuff, which is clearly not what God is and what God creates. So therefore, it is not us. Yes, but somehow that ego just gets us to hold on to that. So today we do practice true humility. True humility. The power of decision is our own. This day I will accept myself as what my Father's will created me to be. And yes, you were created by love, for love, in the name of love, to come here and love. And yes, we are on a journey of forgiveness and practicing all that. And then going back to how we always have been, I suppose. So it's a big old lesson. And I'm curious what tomorrow is gonna bring. Should we even look? Oh, okay. All right. You'll like tomorrow, I'm sure. So anyways, today, try to be humble. Let us today be truly humble and accept what we have made as what it is. The power of decision is our own. I don't know. It's a lot. I've sometimes struggled to find words to comment on this stuff because I'm still most definitely a student and I'm working on my own things and I'm working on my own mind and I'm like just absorbing. I'm like completely immersed in A Course in Miracles right now, and I'm trying just to let it have its way with me and be very aware of what's coming to the surface, so that I can let it go. Holy Spirit, get it out of here.